Talk more about this, we're now being joined by Dr. Azmi Hassan, political analyst and senior fellow of the Nusantara Academy of Strategic Research, who is joining us from Kuala Lumpur. Dr. Hassan, thanks for talking to WION. Let me begin by asking you, Malaysia is potentially eyeing a more assertive stance against the Chinese government. What do you make of the latest decision?
Well, not about a more assertive stance, but we have been talking with the Chinese regarding the oil exploration in our own, as you mentioned, EEZ. As we have seen that we want confrontation with China. We want, if there is any problem, we can talk about it. I think that's where the assertive comes from. Let's talk about it. If China has a problem with our oil exploration, there's nothing wrong with talking. I think that's where I think the misleading statement coming that Malaysia is assertive, as the Philippines has been doing right now.
Right. You're making that difference, but Malaysia has substantial business and trade ties with China. How does that impact the relationship with China if you go through with the naval base, something that of course is irking China nonetheless?
Well, we have been trading with China for, I think, this coming 15 years. I think China is Malaysia's biggest trading partner, even though we have problem in the South China Sea, as you mentioned. So I don't see any problem with that. What's happening for the last few weeks has been happening for the last, I would say, 10, 15 years. I think the reason why we are not physically in confrontation with Beijing is that we are always in talk with China if there is any problem. So I think what happened, I think 10, 15 years ago is no more different what's happening right now, except that the difference is that last few weeks, I think 3 weeks ago, China put out a diplomatic protest note. But I see that as a good sign, where China want to resolve it diplomatically, not through physical altercation.
Right. So why is this naval base important in Sarawak, even as Malaysia continues to say that oil exploration is also integral to this part of the region, which falls into its economic zone?
Yeah, again, the news about naval base, I think it has been proposed, I think, for the last few years, not last year, but for the last few years. We have another base in the north of Sarawak, which we call it Teluk Sepangga Naval Base. But again, don't be misconstrued that we are building the naval base in Sarawak, as you mentioned, to head on or to confront China. No, that's not Malaysia's way to resolve the problem, even though the problem is in our economic exclusive zone. So the naval base in Sarawak, as you mentioned again, has been proposed for the last few years, not because of what's happening right now, but because we need another naval base beside one that we have right now.
Right, Dr. Hassan, thanks very much indeed for talking to WION this afternoon. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.